Today is going to be a fun one. Although at its core, marketing is about the human, the user, the consumer, it's super fun sometimes just to stick it to your competition. Being competitive is a key trait of a good marketer. We are going to talk about how to use your competitor's strengths against them, or as we call it, Judo Marketing. We also have a couple of cool case studies, so check it out. As I said, marketing is about the human, the user, the consumer. It shouldn't be about the competition for one simple reason, that the person giving you money is the consumer and not your competitor. Your competitor is relevant only as much as they are relevant to your target group. Here's a cool example I always bring with my students. Imagine you're walking through a park. While you're walking through a park, you see a couple kissing. Well, the majority of us will probably just kind of look and be indifferent. You might not even see it. You might be just kind of look and walk by. Maybe if you're in the mood or you're happy, you might look and, have a little smile on your face or smirk or be happy that, there's love in the air. So that's usually what you should be doing as a marketer versus your competition. Now, for a moment, imagine again, you're walking through the park. There's a couple kissing, but the couple that's kissing, one of them is your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. All of a sudden, you're really fucking interested in what the hell is going on. Same goes for the competition. As long as the competition isn't kissing your target group, you really don't care. Once they start making out with your target group, that's when you need to get involved. So once again, the competitor is not relevant. They're as relevant to you as they are to your target group. I have to say that yes, my professional side truly believes that our focus should be on the users, but sometimes I just can't help myself. It's super fun to stick it to the competition. One of the main reasons why it's so fun is because in your day-to-day grind of growing your business, you tend to focus on sort of the boring stuff, right? You're identifying a problem, the pain point, and you're offering a solution. That's mainly what you're doing every day. When you shift your focus on competition, that's when you can be much, much more creative. The rules of engagement shift, and you get to experiment and enjoy. Some of the most creative campaigns in the world are not consumer-centric, but are competitor-centric. Okay, let's get down to business and talk about the two case studies I want to highlight here for Judo Marketing. Oh, sorry, I forgot. My team here in the studio is reminding me to tell you to please subscribe. It's just one click. Just do it now. Okay, back to the case studies. Let's start with Volvo. So a little bit of background. Volvo is Swedish. It's a Swedish company. And Volvo is all about safety. We all know that. So Volvo is in the segment of BMW, Mercedes, Volvo, Audi. Those are sort of the big four that compete in that segment. BMW, it's all about the ultimate driving experience, right? That's sort of what they're driving towards. That's their main positioning. Mercedes is all about prestige, right? It's exclusive club, it's prestige. Volvo is all about safety. No matter where you go in the world, as soon as you say, what is the safest car in the world? Boom, it's a Volvo. So we all know that Volvo is more low-key, understandably. It's not as flashy. It's also Swedish, and the Swedish people themselves are not as flashy. So it kind of builds into that culture. Volvo wanted to do Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl ad space is extremely, extremely competitive. Super Bowl ads cost from 1 million, 1.5 to 2 million just for the spot. And you're probably spending another 2, 3, 4 million on actually producing the video. So there's a lot of money being pumped in. Now, Volvo wanted to be present, but they didn't want to really compete directly. So they thought, Judo Marketing. How can we take all of this to our advantage? So what they did is during the Super Bowl, instead of having their own ad space and actually advertise, they said every time that you see any car commercial, Honda, BMW, Mercedes, any car commercial that's not Volvo, go onto Twitter, tweet one of your friends, tag one of your friends in the tweet, put the hashtag, and at the end, they did a raffle and they gave away a free car. So what happened was very, very interesting. First of all, every time there was a car ad, everybody was on Twitter. So instead of watching the Mercedes ad or the Honda ad or the BMW ad, people were on Twitter writing about Volvo. They turned the entire Super Bowl into one giant social discussion about Volvo. They averaged about 2,000 tweets per minute throughout the entirety of the game, which basically means that $60 million that was spent by car companies to advertise during the Super Bowl, all of that money was spent for no reason. Because every time your ad went on, everybody was on Twitter pushing Volvo. So the cool thing about that also is that if you are doing a Super Bowl ad, that you have one spot, it's one slot. So you're only on air for 45 seconds a minute throughout the entire game. So it's one giant bang and it goes out. Whereas with Volvo, because it's a continuous process, every time there was a car ad, you were on Twitter writing about Volvo. Throughout the entirety of the game, you have these spikes every single time that there's a car ad on. So the discussion around Volvo lasted the entire game, the whole 3 hours, instead of just having a 1 minute bang. I mean, this is just pure judo move. Beautifully done. The Wall Street Journal called it the interception of the year. And truly bravo Volvo, and bravo to the team that actually thought of it. It's very, very creative. Results. Did it actually work? Well, the following month, so the Super Bowl is always in February, the following month in March, Volvo outsold their average by 70%. 70% more cars were sold by Volvo than their average. And that is number one in their segment. So the $60 million that was being spent on Super Bowl ads by these different car companies, Volvo basically hijacked that with one small campaign, giving away one free car. So once again, power move, judo marketing. If there's a cool campaign which you liked, please share it with us in the comments below. I love researching marketing cases, so the more, the better. Let's move on to the next case I wanted to talk to you about today. Nike Olympics. First of all, let's talk a little bit about how sponsorships work during the Olympics. So the Olympics will have multiple different sponsors in different categories: a beverage sponsor, a sport apparel sponsor, etc. And the sport apparel sponsors and are extremely exclusive. So there would be only one that would be sponsoring the event, sponsoring the entire Olympics. And in this scenario, it was not Nike. In 1996, the Olympics were in Atlanta. Now, let's just be very clear. The past couple of Olympics, viewership has gone down. It's not the biggest event of the year anymore. But in 1996, it was a huge deal. Everybody was watching. Viewership was very high, especially since it was in the US, in Atlanta. Viewership was even higher than average. So it was a big deal, and all of the brands wanted to be present. Now, Nike decided not to be the exclusive partner because being an exclusive partner costs millions and millions and millions of dollars. Their thinking was, we're just going to hijack the event, basically. The main headliner was Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is a track and field runner. He is the only man in history to win gold medal in the 200 and 400 meter race. He also shattered the world record. He was basically the fastest man on earth. At the time, he was wearing the iconic gold Nike running shoes. Not only did he wear them during the races, which millions of people saw, but he also had them around his neck a couple days later when he was on the cover of Times magazine. For all the Gen Z viewers out there, Times magazine was a huge deal in 1996. Nike also bought up a bunch of billboard and out-of-home space. So a lot of these billboards, and they just jam-packed their logo on all of the different billboards. So the TV crews, no matter where they were shooting, one logo was always in the shot. So no matter how you were watching or where you were watching or when you were watching the Olympics, you were always getting jammed with these Nike logos over and over and over again. Again, although they were not the official sponsor. Nike did this again in the 2012 Olympics in London. Due to intellectual property rights, they couldn't really say London 2012. That was kind of illegal, but they found an awesome loophole, an awesome way around it. So they launched a campaign that showed different Londons around the world. There's a bunch of Londons that exist everywhere in the world, not necessarily in the UK. And they had a bunch of different athletes and kids and different types of people playing sports, running around with that London background. So they created an emotion around London plus Nike, and they were able to push that campaign. It's considered one of the most successful campaigns in the history of marketing. At the end of the 2012 London Olympics, they did a survey. 37% of people said that they thought Nike was the official sponsor, and only 24% said that Adidas was the official sponsor, and Adidas was actually the official sponsor. So you can imagine how pissed off the Adidas marketing guys were. Guys, judo marketing works. I know we don't have very big budgets, but you don't have to have a very big budget when you want to beat your competition, as long as you're creative about it. So creativity plays a key role in how you attack competition. If you guys are creative, like we are, please subscribe. I'll see you guys next week.